FightView360.com. Also, I'm going up against a very competitive time slot here. So basically, I had everything all opened here. My time stamps, all the fighters, box recs, everything, and then I hit the X and closed everything out. We got a few topics to talk about here. Well, actually several, but we're going to cram everything into a 60-minute stream here. First, we're going to talk about this fucking fight that I still find hilarious, that they put Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin. Listen to me. Listen to this crazy shit. All right. Listen to this. Luis Ortiz, 42 years old, by the way. That's what he's listed as. You know, I'm going to leave the Cuban jokes out of this. Luis Ortiz is taking on former IBF heavyweight champion Charles Martin on pay-per-view on New Year's Day, 2022. What a hell of a way to start off the year, PBC. It's going to be $39.99. Now, I don't care that it's what they call here. Let me read the press release to you. In my thousands and thousands of emails and press releases, and let me read the email to you. Let me read it to you. Please take your time out. Like the video, subscribe. Like, bro. Yeah, I've talked about it before. When it comes to Cuban fighters, I hope this is not bigotry. But anyway, when it comes to Cuban fighters, you know, once they defect and come over here, you know, to the States, they can be whatever age they want. So once they get off the boat, you know, over in Cuba, they'd be like 25. But once they get off the boat over here, they'd be like, you know what? They'd be like, yeah, what's your age and your name? They'd be like, you know what? Over here, I want to be this. And they'd be like, you really be 25. But, you know, they'd be like, you know what? I'm 21. I'm 18. You know? They just always look older. You know who's been around forever? And I bet you he probably not even listed at 40 yet. Iris Lindy Lara. He's been around for eternity. He's been on all the fight nights in like Knockout Kings, bro. I was in like my first year in college. I'm 38 now. I was in my first year in college or some shit like that when he fought Carlos Molina. That was a long ass time ago. Anyway, PBC announced this yesterday, and I'm still in shock. I think I'm in the metaverse. Like, I can't believe this shit. I can't believe it. Luis Ortiz, 32-2 with 27 KOs, is taking on Charles Martin, 28-2-1 with 25 KOs on January the 1st. Let me read it to you. Heavyweight Extravaganza kicks off 2022 with a New Year's Day showdowns, headlined by top heavyweight Luis Ortiz battling former world champion Charles Martin in the IBF title eliminator Saturday, January the 1st, from the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Rising star Frank Sanchez dueling Puerto Rican Olympian Carlos Negron in the co-main event. Stacked 5-fight lineup includes Johnny Rice versus Michael Coffey too. Gerald Washington versus Ali Aaron Demetrius and Victor Falls versus Iago Calades. Ew! And then the biggest smack in the face live on Fox Sports PBC pay-per-view at a special price of $39.99. That shit should be a special no price. Like this is a Showtime card, bro. This is a regular PBC on Fox card. Like we got Charlo versus Korobov and Charlo versus Tony Harrison on the same card, bro. We got Leo Santa Cruz versus Abner Maris too. Like, bro, we got Keith Thurman versus Shawn Porter on free TV, along with Keith Thurman versus Danny Garcia. Like, this is shenanigans at its highest form. This is shenanigans. This is shenanigans in the highest form possible. And then they're trying to spit on our cupcakes and tell us it's frosting. Oh, a special price of $39.99. Now, don't get me wrong. I guess I should say this little disclaimer here. I'm going to buy the fight. I'm going to purchase the fight. You know, some crazy shit. Do you know that Terence Crawford, when he fought Victor Postol, According to what you can find on the internet, that fight sold between 55,000 and 80,000 pay-per-view buys. Rumors are that Chris Arreola, Angel Ruiz versus Chris Arreola. Remember, we were like, what the fuck? They put that on pay-per-view? Chris Arreola, Angel Ruiz was trending around 36,000 pay-per-view buys. But Copinger, now of ESPN, formerly of The Athletic, formerly of the LA Times, tweeted out that it did 150,000 or so. But people were calling like bullshit on that. Tank Davis pay-per-views do around 200,000 or so pay-per-view buys. So the thing I'm thinking is this, like, okay, Luis Ortiz, when he fought Deontay Wilder, that did, I forgot what the pay-per-view buys were. I should look that up right now. Does anybody remember? Help me out in the chat. What did the pay-per-view for Wilder versus Luis Ortiz do? But Luis Ortiz was guaranteed to make about $7 million or so. I believe that's what he made. When Luis Ortiz last fought against Alexander Flores only made 80,000. The reason how we know this is because his purse was frozen, because fans and media were raised in outrage because they thought that he was a no good flopper, that he flopped. He did get his purse, but this was on PBC on regular Fox. In the bubble, no crowd, Fox Studios in LA. So I was trying to find how much Luis Ortiz made for that fight, but basically it's all looking like PBC can't pay these guys. It's got to be pay-per-view. He's guaranteed too much money, I'm guessing, for, PBC having him walk away from Anthony Joshua. They probably was like, nah, you know what? We'll take care of that. We'll take care of you. But for them to put this on pay-per-view 2-3 years ago, pay-per-view? I don't care if it's $39.99. Like, how can we sell this on pay-per-view? I like Charles Martin, Wave Camp, stand up, but pay-per-view? And what's the storyline? Does this fight lead to Luis Ortiz or Charles Martin against Angel Ruiz? Like, what's going on here? You know what it seems like? And it was posted on Twitter by someone who works for BoxRec. It seems like that this is PBC fulfilling obligations. And somebody posted it down below in the comment on one of my recent videos. And it's true. I watched that press conference where Dana White was talking like how not PBC, but boxing is in general treats pay-per-views like a going out of business sale. It's like, all right, this may be the last one we doing. We don't know if we're going to be able to do another one after this. And they give us stuff like this. It's just, here, let's put it into more perspective. Let's go look at the card before we move on. So we're going to be talking about multiple things. Andrade versus Quigley. But let's look at the card, bro. Let's look at the card. Luis Ortiz, Charles Martin, Frank Sanchez, Carlos Negron, Johnny Rice versus Michael Coffey, too. It was a good fight, the first one. Gerald Washington. These are all PBC fighters. And every single one of these fighters, I don't know if he has before, but all of these fighters from Ortiz, Sanchez, Johnny Rice, Washington, Martin, Negron, Coffey, even him, Aaron Demerezin, Kiladaz, like all of these guys, they all fought on PBC on Fox before. Is this a PBC on Fox, like, as they said, extravaganza? And then, of course, I got Luis Ortiz winning the fight. Let me pull up my beautiful rankings here at FightView360.com. Take a time out, like the video. Tomorrow, it's going to be busy tomorrow night. Got a busy day tomorrow. So tomorrow, we're going to be covering the Andrade versus Quigley card. Then we're going to be doing a stream after, and then basically talking about the weigh-in for Crawford versus Porter, because I got to do some running around, taking my kid to dinner, so we're not going to be able to stream the Crawford Porter weigh-in live, but we will fit in a stream. I'm seriously thinking about streaming during the main event of Crawford versus Porter. I'm thinking about it. Obviously, we're not going to show the fight or any highlights and no shit. Only like little brief, legal fair use highlights. Also, damn, YouTube, like, I've been shadow banned. You ever hear of that? Apparently YouTube is not like sharing my videos around. I had a suspension for bullying and harassing, and boy, I am feeling it. I'm feeling it. Like, all right, YouTube, you fucking win. All right, YouTube algorithm, you win. Anyway, because like there's no notifications going off of my videos, no nothing. Like they doing me wrong. But on the weekends, we're able to force through it because people come to last weekend we was able to force through. It was my first weekend back because people come to my channel looking for my post-fight videos, but they not like promoting my shit, fucking me up. But anyway, looking at the rankings, the heavyweight division is pretty top heavy. For example, it looks like Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte is going to go forward. Bob Arum did an interview, and I think it was with Boxing Scene, but I saw it on fucking Benson's account, that Bob Arum did an interview that Tyson Fury, even if he is going to go on and fight Dillian Whyte, even if Dillian Whyte isn't mandated by the WBC to fight Tyson Fury. So, for example, let me break it down to you. The WBC had their 59th convention this week. By the way, down below in the description box is the links to the WBC app powered by the Vive network. For Roku, Android, Apple, fights, my videos, other content creators, and some other things coming in the future. So the WBC had their convention, and one of the things they do at their convention is they talk about new rule changes, ranking updates, and mandatories, etc. So because Dillian Whyte has brought litigation against the WBC, they can't rule on making him the mandatory until that situation is resolved. But it looks like Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury is going to go ahead anyway and fight. And I'm guessing, we haven't been given any date. I'm guessing, late spring, something like that, because Usyk Joshua is going to be happening too, is going to be happening around that time. We're still waiting on news from that, because Joshua has to confirm who his next trainer is going to be. Eddie Hearn has said, and Anthony Joshua, after he was defeated by Usyk, said that they wanted the rematch in February or March, but I knew that was kind of bullshit. I don't see it happening. I'm thinking they're going to drag this out and give Joshua as much time as he needs. So I'm thinking, April or May-ish. And then if all goes well, we'll get Fury versus Whyte around that time too. And then the winner of those two fights, we get by the end of the year to be an undisputed champion in 2022. It's time to stop fucking around with that. Now, where Luis Ortiz fits into that, he's trying to be he's in an IBF eliminator. Okay. But then the winner of Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin is going to have to fight Felix Hergovich, from my understanding, right? Now, if Fury versus Whyte doesn't happen, then an in-house fight that Tyson Fury can have is Joe Joyce, who is with Frank Warren, and and Tyson Fury is also with Frank Warren. Deontay Wilder's ranked number 1 by the WBC, but we don't know what he's doing yet. To be honest, I'd be surprised if we see Deontay Wilder back in the ring within a year. I'd be surprised. I'm having a hard time, man, thinking that he might even come back. But I don't think we're going to see him in the ring. Put it this way, I'm going to be really surprised if we see Deontay Wilder in the ring before September of this year. I'd be surprised. October, 1 year from the fight. So right now, the way it's looking is Usyk, if he defeats Joshua again, is not going to have a mandatory. Daniel Dubois is going to have to fight Trevor Bryan. That's some news got to be announced on that soon. The WBA has to consolidate their titles. Let's see. Joe Joyce right now is the WBO mandatory. The next one after Usyk, he's like, well, since Usyk had one, he is the mandatory. Maybe the winner of Chisora. Chisora's not ranked by the WBO. And Parker, I was thinking, could possibly be an eliminator, but I don't see that. Not at all. What up, Donnell? You going to the fight? My bad, man. I ain't been getting back to you. It's a lot of shit going on, but a few more weeks, couple more weeks, less than that, it'll be all over. Also, to move on, perfect time to move on. Actually, Demetrius Andrade versus Jason Quigley. In fact, let's go tune into that weigh-in real quick. Here, let me go pull this. Let me go pull this content up, and we're going to talk about Andrade versus Quigley. Before, we haven't talked about Crawford versus Porter or Canelo versus Makabu yet. We're holding off on that because I was suspended by YouTube, and basically my videos are all fucked up in the YouTube algorithm. So we're kind of on like a blacklist type deal. You know what happens to channels, and mine's just so happens to be involved in that, which is some bullshit. So I did a video 2 years ago on Pizzagate, of all things, whether I thought it was real or not. And YouTube suspended me for bullying, harassing, and made me take the video down. Well, they didn't make me, they took the video down. So when you get shadow banned for doing videos like that, you have a hard time on YouTube getting back out. So, you know, I don't think people are getting notifications from my videos or anything. Fucked up. So I've been researching. I don't know how long it lasts. But yeah, Demetrius Andrade's fighting tomorrow, man. And frankly, something's got to be done because people and fans are getting fed up. Let's listen in. Watch the weigh-in, actually. Oh, hold on. Let me open up the other link, because the zone one was clipping a lot. It was really annoying. I did watch it earlier as I was cooking, but it was annoying.
Demetrius Boo-Boo Andrade.
This fight is tomorrow night on the zone. This fight is going under the radar, but it's a very, very good card. Here, let me pull it up real quick. It's a very good card. Despite the fact that the Andrade Quigley fight is, you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. But yeah, he needs to put a boot in Jason Quigley's ass. He needs to knock him out. Period. Like, don't go 12 rounds with this dude. Get him out of there. You know, don't try to showboat. Like, he need to, like, it's time to step on the gas. He's 33 years old now, Andrade.
Hey. Andrade. Now to the scale, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the challenger, Jason Quigley. 159.8, 159.8 for Jason Quigley, the Irish challenger. And now to the scale, ladies and gentlemen, the reigning, defending, undefeated WBO middleweight champion of the world, Demetrius Boo-Boo Andrade. 160 pounds, bang on the middleweight limit for the world champion, defending his title on Friday night.
It's safe to say that Andrade may never get Canelo right. I don't think it's going to happen. For one, let me go ahead and say that I think that Canelo's done with 168 pounds. I think that he's going to hold on to the titles as long as he can, but I think that he's going to move on after Makabu, that he's going to move on to 175. But let's talk about Andrade. 30-0 with 18 KOs. Last fight, Liam Williams. Liam Williams is fighting Chris Eubank Jr. Luke Keeler, Salusky, the Wolverine, Artur Akavov, Katan Duakwa, and I used to know how to pronounce his name. Damn. Katan Dakwa. Damn, I had some pride in that. You know, that is an ugly resume, bro. That's ugly, ew. You know, that's ugly. Like, that's really ugly. Alintez Fox, Jaku K, his last fight at 154 pounds. He can't seem to get a unification. Hopefully, if Golovkin Murata winner, that's taking place December the 29th on the Zone, by the way. Hopefully, the Zone enforces that. Let's listen to the post-fight, post-weigh-in interviews.
Friends, where did all these people come from?
Left your hands, caddies, yeah!
All right, so what's the blueprint to beat Demetrius Andrade? No one's been able to do it.
Look, I'm getting in there on tomorrow night, Friday night. Going to put in a performance of my career. I'm here to put on a show in front of all my Irish fans. Thank you so much for coming out here, making the long travel out here. It's a brilliant experience for me, and I'm going to get in there and give it one hell of a fight come fight night.
What do you see when you watch Demetrius? Why do you think your skill set is going to be the one that's able to topple the champ?
Look, Demetrius is a great champion. He's a two-weight world champion, former world amateur champion, and I'm going to have to be on top of my game, but I believe I bring my best performance into the ring tomorrow night. I can become a weight world champion.
It's supposed to be a home fight, basically, for Demetrius, but you may have the crowd support. What will they see tomorrow night?
They're going to see an unbelievable performance, you know, and I'm going to put it on for them for traveling over here because I'm really grateful and appreciative. Yeppo!
Give it up, everybody. One final time. The challenger, Jason Quigley. And now we await the champ, Demetrius Andrade. And here comes the 160-pound middleweight champion of the world, Demetrius Andrade, from nearby Rhode Island. How you feeling, Demetrius?
I'm good. I'm excited. I'm part of the ole, 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 ole. I love it, baby. You know what I'm saying? It was here. We're going to turn up. The crowds are in it. That's what we're talking about. We're going to just bring excitement come tomorrow night. And, you know, it's go time.
You know, they say Irish eyes are always smiling, but what are those Irish eyes going to be doing tomorrow night when all is said and done?
Listen, rooting, cheering, making it loud, bringing the experience that, you know, we're going to bring, and that's it. You know, may the best man win. God bless them. But at the end of the day, and still.
Is he on your level? When you see video of him, do you look at him and say, this guy can beat me?
I'm the most confident fighter out here in this world. I don't look at anybody like that. We're going to get in the ring. We're going to showcase what we're made out of, and that's it. At the end of the day, I'm here, 30-0. Still going to continue to be 30-1-0 come tomorrow night, Friday night.
I know you're always trying to send a message out to the rest of the boxing world. Does a points victory do that, or are you determined to knock Jason Quigley out?
Tune in. You're going to see it, and you're going to be surprised at what the outcome could be. So it's all good.
All right, what's your message to all your fans in Rhode Island that are going to be supporting you tomorrow night?
Hey, man, you already know what we do. We turn up. They already know. So good. We turning it up. That's it.
Give it up, everybody. Boo-boo, Demetrius Andrade. So back to David, one final.
Surprisingly, this is a very good card. You know, here, let me break it down to you. Of course, you got Andrade versus Quigley. Julio Cesar Martinez defending his WBC flyweight title against Williams Arroyo. Here, let's pull these two up, go into detail. This is the co-feature. I can say this is actually a co-feature, not a chief support. Like, you know, this could be the main event over Andrade Quigley. You know, 18-1 with 14 KOs, 26 years old. Charlie Edwards, that was a crazy fight. McWilliams Arroyo, I've seen him fight multiple times, 21-4 with 16 KOs. Mexican versus Puerto Rican fight. He's never been stopped, should be a fun fight. Live dog on a 4-fight winning streak. Last fight against Kazuto Ioka. I covered his last fight. He got that win over Calderas, Roman Chocolatito Gonzalez. Like, he's been around. He's been around. Crazy that he's 35 years old. Like, he's been around. Mirvajan Akhmadaliev versus Jose Vasquez. (29-6-2), 19 KOs. I wonder what's the deal behind this fight. Well, actually, damn, look at all these wins he's whacked up. Have I ever seen him fight before? I do not remember. I do not know. That name sounds so familiar. Akhmadaliev, of course, fast track to a title. 9-0 with 7 KOs. Beat Danny Roman in the split. I don't remember if this was a controversial win or not. Like, did he really legitimately win this fight? I covered that. I have the video. But I don't remember if this was controversial or not. And Danny Roman is not even at 122. And I'm pretty sure, I know he's still over at PBC on the PBC side. So this should be a pretty good fight. On paper, it's a very good fight. And then, of course, you got Kali Reese versus Jessica Camara. This is a part of that tournament that Eddie Hearn has put on with the female fighters. And who was the last one that lost? I forgot. What was that last female fight? The one in the tournament. Well, anyway, and then Dempsey Mccain versus Don Haynesworth. Heavyweight fringe contender right here. He was supposed to fight Lucas Brown on Showtime a couple of years back. Lucas Brown pulled out. What up, guys? Once again, I was shadow banned on YouTube. Usually shadow bans last for about 2 weeks to a month. So I was suspended for a community guideline strike. And basically it's like a probationary period where they don't, promote your videos and send out notifications and all that shit to everybody for about a month or so. So, I've been dealing with that. So shit's been kind of fucked up around here numbers wise. But, we should be out of it in like a week or so. For a video I did like 2 years ago, by the way. But overall, I'm looking forward to this fight. Now, regarding Andrade, let's go down to the 160-pound rankings. He's got to do something next. And it all depends on what Golovkin wants to do. Now, I don't think that Canelo versus Golovkin 3 is going to happen. Like, unless it looks like to me that Canelo's going to move to 175 next. And if Canelo versus Golovkin would have to happen, it's going to have to happen on Canelo's terms. And I believe that it's going to have to happen at 168 or above. But my thing is Golovkin fighting Murata to unify the division, to finish what he started before he lost his belts to Canelo? Or is he fighting, for Murata because that's the biggest money he can make in the division, fighting in Japan? That's some big money. Is on December the 29th in the Saitama Arena in Japan. On Prime Video in Japan, by the way, the zone here in the States. So big money fight right there. Now, if he's there to unify the division, then it's like, okay, all right, cool. The winner of Murata Golovkin, fight Andrade. Just do it. But the thing is, Andrade don't bring in, like no real, like hardcores would want to see it. But there's like Andrade's been having a hard time getting like casual fan appeal. You see what I'm saying? And Jermall Charlo, well, we don't know what he's doing. We don't know what Jermall Charlo's doing. Jaime Munguia is #1 by the WBC, and he's mandatory to Andrade. So that's something to look forward to see Andrade versus Munguia, if Andrade beats Quigley, of course. You know, Andrade, like, put it this way, for Andrade, it's got to be Golovkin versus Murata winner or Munguia. Those are fights that can happen in-house. You know, Jermall Charlo, okay, yeah, all right. But, you know, I don't have any faith in that because Jermall Charlo is, you know, the broadcasters, the networks. Boxing politics, man, that shit is trash. Pisses me off. But to move on, I have already made the decision. I'm going to stick to my guns that I feel that Terence Crawford is going to beat Shawn Porter. I watched some tape. I got a chance to watch some old fights, and I've been really looking at highlights and everything, and just like, you know what? I don't see Shawn Porter being able to knock Terence Crawford out. I don't see it. So Shawn Porter's going to have to either outwork Terence Crawford, maybe drop him a couple times, have many close rounds. But if there's anything that can happen, we know that Shawn Porter can be dropped. He's shown that he's got a chin, but he's shown that he can be put down. You know, he ate some mean shots from Kell Brook on the inside, definitely from Keith Thurman, you know, and from Errol Spence. He got dropped by Errol Spence. But it's hard for me to see, and let's pull up the resumes here. I want to show you this. It's hard for me to really see a stoppage coming from Shawn Porter's style, you know, where, you know, he can often smother himself, and he's not known or hasn't shown us. I'm not saying it can't happen, that he can be a one-punch knockout artist, 31-3-1 with 17 KOs. You know, Formella couldn't stop him, even though, you know, there was a clear, clean shutout. You know, so bad that Conor Benn, fringe, up-and-coming welterweight and fringe contender, looked better against Formella. Even if it was a shutout, Ben didn't stop Formella, did he? No, he didn't. But, you know, he looked better than Shawn Porter did. I mean, you know, the Errol Spence fight, okay, you're Dennis Ugas. A lot of people felt Shawn Porter lost that fight. Yeah, he got dropped by Adrian Broner. That was a flash knockdown. I do remember that. You know, but when you look at it, he hasn't been like, you know, okay, Andre Berto. But Andre Berto, I mean, you know, yes, it's a stoppage. I was there at that fight ringside, by the way. Yes, it was a stoppage. Yes, he beat up Andre Berto, but it's just like, you know. So if Shawn Porter was to win, I see it more, you know, it would have to be on the cards, right? Here, let's listen to this. I want to listen to...
And I am joined now by the guy when you were at lightweight and junior welterweight and you could make those fights. I said, that's the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. And then a lot of these guys just didn't want to fight you. Meantime, Canelo's the money man. He's getting all these boxers in the ring. And now when people ask me, I say the following, Bud. I say, I suspect that Bud Crawford is the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. But recently, I just don't have the evidence to make the case. Shawn Porter just crossed the street to fight you, and that helps give you some evidence depending on how you look in that fight. What does that mean to you?
Well, first and foremost, like I've been saying all along, there's no street. So I don't know why everybody keeps saying the street. You know, we need to get rid of that. You know, that's what's...
what do you mean by that? Because when people say the street, we mean another network, so there's an economic reason to separate the fighters over there from the fighters over here. When you say there's no street, what do you mean?
There's no such thing. You know, PBC have worked with Top Rank. PBC have worked with DAZN and the Golden Boy. But when it comes to Terence Crawford,
it's a street.
It's a street.
Yeah.
You never hear
with a barbed wire fence.
Yeah, you never hear nobody else saying he's on the wrong side of the street,
right,
but Terence Crawford. You know, this week, you know, me and Shawn Porter gonna get in the ring, and I'm gonna show everybody why I'm the best fighter in the world.
So what does that feel like to finally get one of these guys to say, yes, I'll get in the ring with you? How are you feeling about that?
I feel great. I feel great. You know, a lot of people, you know, they've been talking, saying I haven't fought anybody at the welterweight division. Everybody that I've been fighting thus far was either has been broken or some type of excuse. So here we are with Shawn Porter, one of the elite welterweights in the division, and we're going to see how he fared against me.
So not only is this is the way you make a living, support your family and all that, and an athlete's prime is not that long. They got to get while the getting's good, but there's also legacy. You are considered a great fighter. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. Does pound for pound mean something to you? When you hear everyone calling Canelo automatically best pound for pound, do you get feelings behind that and you're like, ho, time out. I got to prove something against Porter?
Not at all. Not at all. Like I said, Canelo earned that spot right now, being that he just conquered the whole division within a year. I said it depends on my performance this weekend. If I go in there and look spectacular and get Shawn Porter out there, then we have a discussion to talk about.
For sure. But speaking of getting him out of there, when you were a lightweight, you were a boxer-puncher. You could stay in the pocket, make guys miss, switch southpaw, orthodox, analyze them, break them down, get them any which way, back foot, coming forward, side to side, head, body, the whole package. I would describe you, as Larry Merchant once described some fighters years ago, as a welterweight now, you're more of a puncher-boxer, meaning you're looking primarily to inflict damage. You still got your skills, but it seems like more offensively oriented. Is that right? Because against some guys, it means you can get hit more now. Is that right or wrong?
Well, I just think it's just the type of fight that I've been accustomed to doing in the welterweight division. They slower, so they tend to get hit more as well. We shall see this weekend.
So, I mentioned this to you the other day. I was interviewing you on Max on Boxing yesterday, and I said, are you hoping Shawn Porter can bring something out of you? You can prove things no one else has forced you to prove in the ring yet. And you told me yes, but that doesn't mean blood and guts, right? It means extra dimensions of your skills on display. So that leads me to the question, what have you not shown that you are, what other level is there?
I don't know. We got to see. We got to wait and see. Who knows? Maybe he can bring out something that you guys never seen before. Maybe he won't. That remains to be seen. But come Saturday, we shall see it all.
You mentioned earlier, quick, they're telling me to wrap, but I got to ask, if I get him out of there, then we can have a discussion after the fight. You plan on knocking Shawn Porter out? Errol Spence and Keith Thurman barely beat him in great fights. Is the plan to knock him out?
Well, the plan is to win the fight. If the knockout comes, then it's there. I'm going to take it.
Terence Crawford, thank you for joining me once again. Cannot wait for Saturday night. Best of luck.
It's been a back and forth about who wanted to fight and whose back was on the wall, who had to take the fight. I understand Terence Crawford needed this fight. He had to take it, because who else was he going to fight, if PBC didn't give him a fighter. But to me, Shawn Porter didn't really have anybody else to fight where he was going to make the money that was being offered. You see what I'm saying? Shawn Porter's supposed to be making somewhere around $4 million. And Terence Crawford, $6 million, at least. Now, here's the 147-pound division. Errol Spence, I don't think that Shawn Porter versus Errol Spence 2 was going to happen. And I think Shawn Porter probably knew that. After all, Errol Spence was, just a cunt here from having Manny Pacquiao in the ring. And your Dennis Ugas, has that super world title that's highly valuable, even if it's not Ugas' name. By the way, let me break this down to you really quick. According to your Dennis Ugas, him and Errol Spence were supposed to fight February 2022. Your Dennis Ugas has to fight Stanionis. Then if he beats that, he has to fight Butayev. There is no way out of it. It is ironclad. It is locked. Many say that if it was Manny Pacquiao, would the WBA have done this? Yes, I believe they would have, because they've been forced to, or they wouldn't be sanctioned here in the States, which means that their belts wouldn't be shit. This is not like a political thing. The WBA, they have to get rid of those belts. So your Dennis Ugas, it's safe to say that his 2022 is sewn up. Now, why would Errol Spence fight him if Ugas vacates the belt? For bragging rights? Then if Errol Spence wants to unify, which he's already got 2 belts, he would still have to wait and fight the winner of Stanionis, and Butiev if they fight for the vacated title. Don't make no sense to me, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens because something's going on. Shawn Porter, who was he going to fight on that side? What, the Keith Thurman rematch? There was some chatter about that, but was it really going to happen? And also Terence Crawford has the belt and the money was there. It was going to go to purse bid, but then boom, now you have it on ESPN Plus pay-per-view. Also, an interesting fact that I found out is that according to Keith Idec of Boxing Scene, let me see if I can pull it up for you. If you don't already have ESPN Plus, hold up, let me pull it up to make sure I get it right. If you don't already have ESPN Plus, when you buy the pay-per-view, you have to buy ESPN Plus for at least 1 month too. Here, let me see if I can get this up for you because that's kind of fucked up. Because if that's the case, then it raises the pay-per-view price. Here it is right here. Just FYI, for those, let me zoom in. For those who haven't purchased a pay-per-view event through ESPN Plus and you want to buy Crawford Porter, you must sign up for at least 1 month of ESPN Plus $6.99 in addition to the $69.99 for the 4-fight pay-per-view. So in full disclosure, the pay-per-view costs nearly $77, not $70. I haven't noticed that, but I have the ESPN Plus Disney, package deal. So that's kind of fucked up right there. So if you don't know, on ESPN Plus, the pay-per-view, and I put the link down below in the description box and also in the chat somewhere. The pay-per-view is listed at $69.99 and it was being sold to us as like, we're making it cheaper than all the other pay-per-views and everything like that, except Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin. That's $39.99. That should be no money pay-per-view. That's fucked up. But here's how it's been going. Exhibitions like Mayweather versus Paul, Tyson versus Roy Jones, Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley, they've been $50. Flagship, what I'm calling flagship pay-per-views, stuff like Tank Davis fights, Fury versus Wilder 3, those have been $79.99. Special bullshit, try to recover and recoup funds, pay-per-views, like, and purses, guaranteed money purses, Andy Ruiz versus Chris Arreola, that was $50. This Luis Ortiz versus Charles Martin pay-per-view, that's $39.99. Let's look at the undercard of Crawford versus Porter, which I'm kind of digging. Let me tell you the fights that I'm interested in the most. Now, this is on the free TV portion. Well, the regular ESPN, I believe they're going to be on ESPN2, the prelims leading into the pay-per-view. It's Carlos Balderas versus Julio Ortiz and Isaac Dogboe versus Chris Diaz. These are free fights leading into the pay-per-view. The pay-per-view is going to open up with Raymond Muratalla against Elias Araujo. Then, I believe it's going to be this one. Esquiva, Falcao against Patrice Volny. And then Janibek Alamakuli versus Endon. So basically these 4 fights going to be pay-per-view. This one, this one, this one, this one. And then free TV fights are going to be this, and maybe this. But I definitely know it's going to be these 2. So overall, nice little, solid card. Shout out Charles Barkley. Nice solid card. Yeah, I got to fix my audio. I don't know what's going on with the audio in the headphones. Somebody been telling me for a while now that it's something. I keep forgetting to look it up and see what it is. That sometimes my volume comes out in one earbud or whatever. So solid card. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be interesting to see who the winner, whether between Shawn Porter, and Terence Crawford, going to fight. Because, in a perfect world for me, right, I think that the winner versus Crawford versus Porter should fight Errol Spence. Stop bullshitting around. And Errol Spence has already said, for the fans are going to say, no, he's come over eye injury, he should have an easy touch. Errol Spencer said on his Twitter, posted on his Twitter that he doesn't want basically no bullshit fight because, you know, that means you got doubt or something. He wants to come back to some smoke. So, you know, like, stop bullshitting around, you know, no matter what network it's on. And by the way, Terence Crawford, from my understanding, is going to be a promotional and network free agent. So just make the fight, you know, just make the fight. I don't know if Falcao versus Volny is a eliminator, but it likely is. It probably is. Maybe not a final eliminator, but I'm pretty sure that's for something. Let me just check the rankings real quick to see. Yep, they're both ranked. So I'm wondering, they're both number... No, I don't know, bro. I don't know. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see, because right now we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. Ew. Yeah, I don't even want to read that comment out loud. Ew. So anyway, let's move on to the final topic. I got a clip here. A clip here of Canelo and his May 2022 Cinco de Mayo opponent, WBC champion cruiserweight, Elias Makabu. Here, let me pull it up real quick. I can't believe it. Now, I'm still waiting to hear if the WBC is going to push up there. Here, let me play it for you. Let's go full screen. Take a time out. Like the video, by the way. We have been shadow banned on YouTube for about another, I'm hoping no more than another 30 days, because I was suspended for a community guideline strike. So I'm kind of under probation right now. So my numbers are being affected. Crazy, can you believe this? I mean, yes, okay, it's you know, some would say that Makabu is the weakest of the cruiserweights, you know, and this is like Canelo testing the water, but you know, still a massive achievement. You know, I'm really wondering, like, what's Canelo going to weigh in at? You know, is he going to try to catch weight Makabu, have Makabu, you know, like saying like, okay, we'll weigh in at 195, you know, the limit is 200 pounds. Yeah, it's not confirmed yet. Has it been confirmed that the WBC has officially made the cruiserweight limit 190? You know, I don't think that's confirmed yet, bro. I don't think that's confirmed yet. No, I wouldn't say I'm not shadow banned in Australia. The way I've read that it works is basically YouTube doesn't promote your videos that much, but in the case of in the case of the Tim Tszyu video, wasn't that many people covering it. You see what I'm saying? But you know, I'm wondering, you know, like there's got to be some type of catch behind this cruiserweight fight. You know, I'm thinking they're probably going to catch weight him, or definitely put a rehydration clause on him. Because Kovalev had a rehydration clause that he couldn't talk about. So you think they'll say, you know, some shit like, all right, he weighs in at 195. Let's go look at his box rec. 34 years old. And also he's one of the shorter cruiserweights as well. 6 foot. 28-2 with 25 KOs. He lost to Tony Bellew. I covered that fight. This fight right here was pretty wild. Here, I'm going to pull that clip up for you while we're here. I watched that on a Facebook live stream, his fight against Doradula. No bullshit. I watched that fight, like on a Facebook stream, on my phone, like crazy. Let me see. Makabu versus... And I did a post-fight video, and I believe... Forgot what happened to it. I think I had a strike on that. It was banned in like some territories.
Échange de coups de tous les deux boxeurs. L'esquive. Dorodula est toujours au 6e round. Là, c'est Makabu qui. Mais c'est pas facile. Là, c'est l'hypercute de Makabu. Oui, oui, direct. Il marque le point. Voilà. Point. Ok, encore. Oui, oui. Voilà, crochet de gauche. Oui, voilà Makabu. Makabu, voilà. Allez, ok. Attention. Il enchaîne. Il n'y a pas de Nigérien. Round difficile pour Dorodo là, les Nigériens. Il nous voilà, Makabu. Il a tenté. Il est gagné. Comment ça? Peut-être il veut. Ok. On donne. Et puis. Et ça, c'est Dorodo là qui ne se laisse pas faire. On y percute. Voilà. Quel combat!
Here's some questions I have. You think Showtime, who's going to promote this fight? You think this is going back to the zone? You know, it hasn't been fully confirmed. He was a Don King fighter at one point in time. I don't know if Makabu's still a Don King fighter right now. Yeah, they were fighting in some leisure center in the Congo. And that was the stream. This was the stream I was watching. It was on Facebook. So let's look at the cruiserweight champions. Put it this way. I think this is Canelo testing the waters. You know, this is what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to hold on to these 168-pound titles as long as he can. You know, the WBC has already said that they'll make him franchise champion and that David Benavidez can fight for an interim title and be elevated. So David Benavidez and David Lemieux will likely be ordered to fight if, you know, by the time Canelo fights Makabu. So, in my opinion, David Benavidez should just fuck off to 175 pounds unless Charlo moves up and fight him. You know, and I think him and Charlo should fight. You know, and, you know, here's the thing. I would love to see Canelo versus Charlo or David Benavidez. But also, it's like, you know, good. Make the motherfuckers fight. And the thing is, I don't want to see them in no bullshit fights waiting for one of them to get Canelo because they don't know which one of them is going to get him and win. But me personally, I think that Canelo is going to be done with 168 and he's going to start focusing on 175. He's going to do this little exhibition thing. Remember, he did it before with Canelo weight. You know, he didn't really want to move up to 160, so he made his own weight division. Then when the pressure was on him to fight Golovkin at 160, what did he do? He went back down to 154, fought Liam Smith, and then went up after saying he was too small, and his team saying he was too small for 160. He fought Liam Smith at 154, then went up to 164.5 and fought Chavez Jr. You know, then with 175, instead of fighting at 168, what did he do? Went up to 175 pounds for Kovalev. You know, and Kovalev was already looking real suspect with the vodka belly, you know, the open legal case, all the bullshit going on outside the ring, you know, the quick turnaround for the Anthony Yard fight, even though they were trying to get him earlier still. Canelo doing, you know, like some maneuvering. I'm not disrespecting it. You know, I'm cool with it. I'm like, all right, you know, fuck it. You know, I'm going to cover the fights regardless, you know, because I look at it as like, oh, shit, Canelo being able to fight at fucking cruiserweight? I never thought I would see him at 168. You know, because they make weight classes for a reason. And then with the height, you know, I was thinking, like, how is he going to be able to hold his own up there? But one thing for sure is, you know, I don't think he want to be fucking around with guys like Miris Briedis. You see what I'm saying? To be honest, you know, Lawrence O'Colly, he might be able to give him some work. You see what I'm saying? But like real big hard punchers, you know, I don't really know. But I really think that he's going to end up at 175. He just, you know, he already tested the waters there already. It's just that he's going after that. Like, put it this way. He's going after that accomplishment. You know, it may not be able to be done. And right now, I can tell you that all these guys, these other three champions at 200 pounds can beat Makabu. And Makabu is the smallest of all of these guys. So, you know, there's something there. He clearly, you know, he knows what he's doing. Here's the face-off once again, by the way. They had it. This is the closing day of the WBC convention. By the way, take a time out, like the video, subscribe. Yeah, Gassiev been moved to cruiserweight. He's been at cruiserweight. He was supposed to move to heavyweight, but I think he put it on hold. I don't remember. He got a fight coming up, by the way, a bullshit one. Yeah, I have to do a little bit of research on that Makabu weight. Let me check real quick. Canelo Makabu 190. Let's see. Because I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it had to take place at 190. But you know what? I don't think they can't do that. They can't do that to the other champions in the division and say, like, all right, well, you guys got to weigh in at 190 now if you want to fight for this WBC title to unify. That don't make no sense to me. I think that's the WBC's goal. That's what they want to do. Okay, so here's from Yahoo Sports, Kevin Iole. The bout with Makabu won't vacate Alvarez's other 168 pounds titles at 168, according to ESPN. The WBC is also set to move the cruiserweight limit from 200 to 190, but they haven't moved it yet. You see what I'm saying? It's not official yet. And yeah, you know what? People are saying that Canelo's going to vacate his titles. Ain't nobody say that shit. Like, it's not. No. People trying to make headlines. Canelo. Nowhere this week was it in the news anywhere that Canelo was going to vacate his titles. I already told you it was going to happen. And it's politically smart for him to hold on to the titles as long as they can. And he can until they tell him, all right, Canelo, what you going to do? Dude ain't vacating those titles no time soon. I mean, he may, but as it stands right now, he hasn't vacated his titles. Michael Hunter just had a fight with Mark DeMore, the guy who fought David Hay, declined by the New York State Athletic Commission. It was supposed to take place on Triller. That's like news that happened, I read not even an hour ago. So yeah, there's that. So I'm going to get up out of here. Tomorrow we're going to be here covering boxing. Starting at about 22 hours or so from now. It's been a real busy week, especially with Tim Tszyu versus Takashi Inoue. He's creeping up on a 154-pound championship. But overall, with Canelo versus Makabu, I'm interested. And there's a lot more to learn, because what network is it going to be on? Is it going to be on Showtime pay-per-view? Is Showtime going to be like, nah, we ain't giving him $40 million for that shit? But the selling point is Canelo fighting a cruiserweight, and he's fighting an African fighter. You can't say he's just fighting a black fighter. He's fighting an African fighter from the Congo, So I'm interested in what the selling point is, and also where will it take place, because I'm sure Makabu's probably going to have a lot of fucking people travel for him, yo. Dude is going to become a superstar overnight. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot more, behind the scenes regarding this fight. It's a lot more going on. It's a lot more there. Canelo versus Usyk. I don't know about that, bro. Canelo wouldn't do that. LL Cool J, of all people, posted a tweet about what has to happen for Canelo versus Usyk to happen. I posted something, but I was trolling. By the way, follow me on Twitter at T Street Controversy. I was trolling when I posted that shit. I don't see it happening. Canelo's very smart in picking his fights, kind of like when Roy Jones fought John Ruiz. Let me tell you how hype I was for that fight. I remember where I watched it and everything. We watched it in the Trap House on a chit box, the old greater media cable, brown chit box with the red numbers. Watched it on the chit box. I remember, and I've been looking for years to try to find that interview of Lennox Lewis telling Roy Jones, if you want to take the test, I'll knock the S off his chest. Because Roy Jones was fraud and like he really wanted to compete at heavyweight. Bro, I'd love it. Who says the fight is fixed? That ain't my boy. I don't know what you're talking about. Y'all think Makabu gonna take a dive? Makabu got beat up by fucking Tony Bellew. No disrespect to him, but bro, and I covered that fight. Like Makabu lost to Tony Bellew. So seeing Canelo loses to Makabu is like seeing Canelo lose to Tony Bellew, bro. Tony Bellew got starched by sparked out by Adonis Stevenson. And of course Usyk as well. Bro, get out of here. I'm T-Street Controversy, but FightView360.com. Take your time out, like the video, and subscribe.